All right. Hey, everyone. I'm here with Erin Broaddus. Hey, Erin.
Hey, good
Good
morning.
morning. And Erin is with EXP out of Cincinnati. Now, we were talking about should you, as the buyer's agent, have your buyers write a letter to the sellers? What do you think?
I think it depends on the situation. In today's market, we're seeing a lot of properties go into multiple offers.
Hmm.
So I think adding a human element to that offer, sometimes along with a very strong offer, and even a cover letter. I'm doing a cover letter from my lender just to provide another little piece
So the
of re-
cover letter from the lender is different than like the pre-approval?
yes, yes.
Oh, tell us about
Yes,
that.
my lender will tailor those specifically to the client.
Okay.
Great little tool. I found it to be very helpful. I have done letters before, just because of if there's a client that really, really, really loves the house. You probably know this too. There's several sellers that have an emotional attachment to their home, so they want to
What?
know that.
Never.
Right? I know. So they want to know that the person that's purchasing their home is going to take just as good care of it as they did. So I think it
Right.
adds another human element versus just a business transaction. So
Yeah, I guess you're right. It would depend. And then what are you finding that buyers are writing in there that you think is effective?
it's been a little bit since I have done one.
Yeah.
I never really approach that unless I
Okay.
feel like it needs to be approached. The last one that I wrote, I actually found the buyer from an open house and they fell in love with this house. They were a relocation couple, beautiful family, and they just added that they were relocating from this area, this particular area.
Hmm.
Um, they had a mother, an elderly mother that was going to be coming to live with them, and that this specific space within the home would have been perfect for them, raising their kids in the community, that sort of thing. So it
Nice.
did add another element, I think, for the sellers to be able to see this is a great family that's going to be moving
Hmm.
into my home. And knowing they were the original owners, so they had built the house.
Yeah, so
So
they definitely had an
it
emotional.
definitely, yes, it played on that a little bit more.
So
So
it doesn't sound like you're like necessarily providing guidance or editing it. You're just like, if you want
mhm.
to write one, I'll submit it.
Yes.
Do you
Hmm.
ever get ones that have like pictures or
I do. I do.
what do you think
Yes,
about
I
that?
have had one with a picture of the family. In this particular case, it was really sweet. I felt like, and then presenting that to the seller, they also had a similar situation. They just needed a bigger home.
Yeah.
So the families were very similar. So I think it did in that particular situation, it played on their
Yeah.
emotional side, so to speak.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess it does depend on the sellers, right? So like if you get there and it smells like dog because they have 10 dogs, then send
Yes.
pictures of your dogs, right?
Yes,
Or like if they
exactly.
have cats.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you being on. Thanks a lot, Aaron. Thanks for being
Absolutely.
our
Thanks for having
tiebreaker.
me.
Have a good day.
You too. Thanks, Jen.
All right, everyone. I am here with TJ Gosman. Hey, TJ.
Hi, Jen.
Hi. And he serves Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's with Keller Williams. We were talking about should the buyers write a letter to the sellers with their offer? Now, you're the tiebreaker. I don't want you to feel any pressure, TJ, but
Okay.
all right,
So
let's hear it.
I am pro letter,
Oh,
but
God.
there's a caveat. So you can screw up the letter. That's the kicker. So I say go with the letter, but the letter has to be seller focused.
Let's
Like,
hear it. What do you mean?
so here's my thought. Seller doesn't care that your buyer is a first-time home buyer.
True.
Seller doesn't care that your buyer lost out on 6 homes. Doesn't care.
They might
So,
care then because then they could be like, well, we'll counter higher.
okay, potentially. My thought is multiple offer situation. Seller wants to know, how is this going to make my life easier?
Okay.
Talk about quick close. We're ready to go. We want to get into your home. We're motivated, and we know inspections are for big stuff.
Oh,
That's my thought, because their fear is they hear first time home buyer, they think, scared, right?
Right.
And I've even gotten one on a listing that said, buyer said this, buyer said, we've lost 2 homes in inspections. Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because the agent let the buyer write it, didn't look at it, and submitted it, which happens. So that's my thoughts.
You know, if the letters, because I'm usually a listing agent, and we see letters sometimes, you know. I think if you're right, if letters said stuff like that, but that is not what they say. But if they did say
Correct.
stuff like that, I'd be pro letter. But usually they say stuff like exactly what you said first, like we are first time home buyers or whatever. But it also too, I think if you can, what if you included a picture? I've seen some with a picture.
Yeah, so I'm also, since we're talking about anti and pro, I am so pro picture.
You are?
Oh, so much. Dogs, I want them to love how my clients look. Yeah, I'll use somebody else's picture.
No, you won't.
That was a joke. No, I won't do that. But yeah, I'm pro picture, because what if one of them is emotional, which is common.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's usually who we're targeting there. But that's not typically the big decision maker, right? It's typically they turn to the driver to make the decision.
Yeah.
The driver just wants quick, easy, and efficient.
Right.
So if I can put a letter together that touches both, can't hurt me.
But you could also do like maybe in the letter, it's like, hey, your dining room is like the perfect dining room for us. We've been like waiting for this giant dining room to have 20 of our closest friends over. Like, what do you think about like stories like that?
I mean, I love stuff like this. This is my stuff. Like
it's terrible and stupid is what I think.
You hate it. I had no doubt where you stood on this, so I'm so happy to do this with you, just so you know.
I just want to like burn all the letters. Right. It's dumb and it doesn't matter.
Do you submit the letter, or do you ever just be like, okay, I'll submit the letter?
You mean as the do I give it to the sellers?
Yeah.
As the listing agent?
Yeah.
It depends. Yes, I will tell them there's a letter. Do you want it? And it really depends. I don't actually think you should give the picture, because I feel like that's by some kind of violation, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
I see that. That makes sense. I didn't think that way, but like, you're right. You never know. You might be right.
You just never know. But like, yeah, if it's a cute dog, I mean, everybody likes dogs.
Well, you can't lose. I mean, a black lab, you can't lose. That's
you really can't lose.
That's my thought. That'll knock out at least 3 other offers. And then you just have to knock out the other 2.
Right, exactly. I have seen where my clients have chosen one because of a letter, because it's been like mushy and they're also mushy and they want to have like, but I've also won the listing by saying, you know, we will find somebody who loves this house as much as you do. And before I stab myself in the eye, I have to like get out of there, you know, like, oh my God. It's a house. Good that
you're able to do it, Jen. That's the sign of an amazing salesperson.
Exactly. Well, I want them to be happy, right? And I don't want them not to pick me because they think I'm like only business and I don't care. Like I do care, but I care about getting it done quickly for you.
Right, which is ultimately what they want. You would just sometimes
they just cloud it with their story. Yeah.
Throw in a good letter, make it fun, give them what they want. It'll still.
Should you write it? Should you type it or write it?
So that's here's my thoughts on that. And this is so funny that we like break this stuff down, but like we do, right?
Yeah.
So writing it looks better, but I can't edit when they write it is the problem. So frankly, like I'm going to touch it.
Yeah.
So unless they're going to write what I tell them to write, I'm going to touch it and edit it anyway. So I ask them to just type it.
Then they can write it later, I guess. You're like an attorney.
Really? You know what? That's funny. Nobody's ever said that to me in my whole life.
That's a lie.
No, like I don't think you're right. But
it is kind of like you're a defense attorney though when you're a buyer's agent. It's like, okay, we're gonna go in here and we gotta win. And like you're like a coach or like you're a strategist, right? Like we have got to figure out how we're gonna win. And mostly the buyers know everything about the sellers. Like they've Googled them, looked them up on Facebook, like LinkedIn stalked them or whatever. So if they know stuff about them, they're going to try to make the connection so that they choose
I
them.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And I think as a buyer's agent, when we're in that position, my goal goes to now I'm motivator.
Right.
So I've gone to like, I'll find you your house, but now I'm going to motivate you and I'm not going to let you lose over $2,000.
That's stupid. It's annoying.
Yeah. And it's easy to do because like when all other things are out and you're in a high stress environment, what do you go to? You go to price.
Right.
So that's where I feel like a good buyer's agent can bring them to earth and be like, dude, we're talking about $11 a month.
Right. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
With interest rates so low, it's like, it's free money. You might as well just give them whatever,
Well, I say $11 a month, anything between 2,000 and 25, because I don't know. And it like sounds like such a legitimate number because it's not 10.
We're going to do math for realtors 101 next. Yeah, you're invited. All right, that's awesome. I knew you would side with Monica. You're mostly probably more team Monica anyway.
But I'm like your biggest fan in the world. But yeah, I do. I'm soft.
You guys are like the same.
We do, yeah. We're that way. But
that's fun.
Look up to you because we wish we had more Jen Mertland.
Is that what it is? Yeah, you guys are nicer, so you'll be around longer. All right, well, thanks for coming on, TJ. I appreciate it. Monica appreciates you.
Well, I appreciate both of you and keep up the good work.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.